least they were doing it unto him. You see the danger in not helping anybody. You never know that individual that you turn down or turn a deaf ear to or walk away like you don't see them in need. That may be the very least one that the Lord is taking notice of. And when you don't do it to the least, he says you haven't done it unto him. Therefore, when these individuals did right, they were commended of the Lord for doing right. No wonder he tells them, come ye blessed of my Father. As we understand that because we bless others, the Lord in turn blesses us. Jesus did say, as I reminded you this morning in Acts chapter 20 and verse number 35, it is more blessed to give than to receive. We see that blessings that come through us ought to come to us, ought to go through us in order to make somebody else's burden a little bit lighter. And then there are those not only that the Lord commended, but then there are those that the Lord condemned. Notice here, beginning at verse number 41, he turns to those on the left hand. He turns to those who are in this dishonorable position. He turns those who are in this position of shame and guilt. And he tells them to depart from me because they are cursed into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. Did y'all see what hell, who hell was prepared for? Notice here, even Jesus tells us, when he commended the blessed, he said that there was a place prepared for them. But hell is a place prepared for the devil and his angels. Hell is a place that's prepared for all of those who seek to turn away from God and from doing right. And so therefore he tells them that they are cursed into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. The reason being is because they failed to do what the righteous had done. When he was hungry, they didn't give him anything to eat. When he was thirsty, they refused to give him drink. When he was naked, they refused to clothe him. When he was sick or in prison, they wouldn't come see about him. When he was a stranger, they refused to take him in. Notice here, my brothers and sisters, as the Lord hands down this condemnation, he didn't tell them that they were going to the fire prepared for the devil and his angels because they had been drunkards. He didn't tell them that they were going to the fire prepared for the devil and his angels because they were committing fornication. He didn't tell them that they were going to the fire prepared for the devil and his angels because they had robbed anybody. He didn't tell them that they were going to the fire prepared for the devil and his angels because they had cheated on their taxes. He didn't tell them that they were going to the fire prepared for the devil and his angels because they had missed the assembly in service. But he tells them that they are going to the fire prepared for the devil and his angels because they didn't seek to do good to anybody. One of the cardinal differences between a child of God and a child of the devil is that a child of God seeks to fulfill God's will by practicing pure religion. They seek to do right, not just in the sight of men, but they seek to do right because it's the right thing to do. It's in James chapter 1 and verse number 27 that John explains unto us what pure religion is. And this is the essence of the reason why God told them, come ye blessed of my Father, because James says that pure religion and that is undefiled before the Father is this: it is to visit the fatherless and the widows in their affliction and to keep yourself unspotted from the world. You can't just do all the right things, but you got to practice the right religion. James says not only must you help a widow in a time of affliction, not only must you take the orphan child in and show him some benevolence, not only must you feed the hungry and clothe the naked, not only must you visit those who are sick and in prison, he said, but you got to keep yourself unspotted from the world. I understand tonight why the Lord would have to say that, because there are those amongst us that will take pride in just doing good, and they think that just doing good is what makes them good. When the Lord shows us a higher standard of good, it's not just doing good, but it's having the mind of good. Not only do you help others, but in helping others, you make sure you ain't lost yourself. He said, not only must you visit the fatherless and the widows in their affliction, but you got to keep yourself in check. You got to keep yourself unspotted from the world. That's how the Lord's light can truly shine through you. That's how people can see that you're showing up a child of God, not just by what you say, but it's by what you do. It's by what comes from your character. It's from what exuberates from your personality. It's who you are, not just Sunday and Wednesday, but it's who you are Monday through Sunday. On the job, you are one that practices pure religion. In the workplace, you practice pure religion. At school or at the grocery store, everywhere your feet take you, that's where you practice pure religion. Nobody knew better how to practice pure religion than the Lord himself. I understand now why the Lord gathers all the good with him and sends all the bad with the devil. I mean, it's just like the shepherd. The shepherd said, my sheep know my voice, and I am known of mine. A shepherd enjoys the company of his sheep, and the sheep enjoy the company of the shepherd. What I'm saying tonight is that if you got goat-like qualities, he's going to send you to the goat herd, and the goat herd is going to hell. That's the reason why you need to make it your business tonight to not be one that was condemned, but be one who was commended. Jesus commended the folk who were just like him. How do you know, preacher, that they were just like him? I know tonight that they were like him because when in doing good to other folk, they were doing what Jesus did. Remember, James says that you have to visit the fatherless and the widows. I saw Jesus tell his disciples on one occasion that don't you forbid those little children to come unto me, because such is the kingdom of heaven. As a matter of fact, he said, unless you become as a little child, unless you humble yourself, you ain't gonna make it to heaven no how. I saw him taking care of children. I saw him feeding folk with 2 fish and 5 barley loaves. I saw him take a basket full of fragments and turn it into a buffet table by the seaside. I saw him take a man who was running around butt naked in the graveyard, put his hands on him and cleanse him and bring him back to his right mind, so that when the townspeople came to see who it was that had been out of his mind, when they got there after Jesus got through with him, the Bible says they found him clothed and in his right mind. Jesus fed the hungry, he clothed the naked, and he soothed the widow's soul. I saw him in the book of Luke take a woman in the midst of the funeral procession as she was getting ready to bury her only son. As Jesus looked at the pain that was in that woman's heart, as Jesus looked at the sorrow that filled that precious soul, he said, y'all hold that for a minute. And he put his hands on the boy and raised him back to